Welcome back to another episode of the DNC Reviews podcast. I'm Arjun. As you know, we also have Ronan and Seung with us today, per usual. Some may know us as a trio, but there's another trio that we're going to be looking at today, a hip-hop trio who does industrial, glitchcore, horrorcore, scary music, spooky tunes, whatever you want to call it. It's Death Grips. We're going to look at their first full-length album, which is The Money Store. Death Grips is comprised of three people. We have MC Ride, who covers all the vocals. He's the star of the show, as some may say. He's loud, he's obnoxious, he's abrasive, and he's a character. And then we also have Zach Hill and Andy Morin, who do the drums and production, which I must say also is really impressive. It's not like the vocalist does all the work. It's obviously a combined effort. Yeah, we decided to do The Money Store 6 months ago, actually, but we all said no after listening to it for the first time. And I thought it would be a good idea to bring it up again 6 months later to see if they wanted to do it. They still said no, but I nagged them a little bit, and here we are. Because I felt that we just had to get outside of our comfort zone and stop listening to the Nick Mira Southside 808s and get into a little bit more of the grimy stuff that people still do listen to, but it's less popular. So for the sake of the channel. And I just want to start this review off as we always do with favorite, least favorite tracks. So we'll start off. Ronan, you want to start?
All right. My favorite, maybe just because I haven't really listened to this kind of music, so it'd probably be like the most normal sounding song is I've Seen Footage, just because there's a proper melody. And my least favorite is probably F That.
I respect those picks. For me, my favorite tracks, probably Lost Boys. I like Lost Boys a lot. I like Get Got. I've Seen Footage as well, and also Hacker. And my least favorite tracks are either probably F That as well, or Punk Wait.
My favorite was Get Got, System Blower, and The Cage. And my least favorite is F That as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much to be said here. I mean, let's just start with Get Got. First of all, that title is like, it's like scary, you know, like Get Got. I don't know. And also MC Ride, when he comes in, like you hear MC Ride going, get, got, blood rush in my head, whatever, right? And it's like this really rapid fire flow. And then all of a sudden it just drops into this dubstep EDM type thing, 100 gex type music, I want to say. And it's just all over the place. But for some reason, in my opinion, it still sounds coherent. It still sounds like not bad. And although I can't understand what he's saying, I can't hear him. I'm not going to act like I can't hear him and I can decipher all of the lyrics. I did read some of the lyrics back, and if you read it, it does change the experience a little bit. But this isn't like Earl Sweatshirt, Kendrick Lamar type music where like you're looking into every single syllable. Like this is like headbang music where you're just like vibing out. It all depends on the type of setting that you listen to this music in. And Get Got's a perfect example of that. His vocals are literally sitting below the mix and they're like drowned out by all the other instruments and everything else that's going on. But it still sounds like a song and it sounds good in my ears. And it just makes for a really harsh listen. But if you're there for it and you can get past the harshness, it's sort of like the Danny Brown album that we did. If you can get past that aspect of it, it can actually be pretty enjoyable. I'm not like vibing to the music. It's just like, I was listening to it last night and I was like, why did I say that we should review this? Like, this is horrible. Like, I can't do this. It's going to be so embarrassing tomorrow when we're going to have to review this because I have nothing good to say. But then I was like doing homework and I was writing this essay and then I put on Lost Boys. And you know how in Lost Boys, it starts out with that little, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like an electrical wire, like short circuiting or like going back and forth. And then it takes that loop and then it just takes that random sample, which isn't looped, and then brings it into a loop and it drops into a beat. And then for some reason, that just hit so hard that I literally wrote so much in so little time. I felt like a different type of student. It was weird. And then I listened to Blackjack, Hustle Bones, and I've Seen Footage in order. And then I was just like working my ass off. I have no idea what happened, but there's just something about MC Ride, just like I don't even know what. He's past his higher self. He's not the highest in the room. Like he's like the lowest in the room in a different way.
While you're listening to this, you just have to. You feel like you have to move or something. Like
yeah, exactly.
It's like
exactly.
Like you like it's like a roller coaster. It's like you're bouncing and stuff.
A perfect song for that is the last song on the album, Hacker. Like that beat, and then when he's like I know the first three numbers, I'm in, and then he just keeps like repeating that. Like these guys are crazy. Like they're like we talk about how Madlib is crazy. He's crazy. He's out of this world because he's taking these samples and he's chopping them up. These guys are like they're actually crazy. I'm willing to get past the harshness of the music if the music can take me to a place where I could feel more immersed and away from what's actually happening in my life. It's just an outer body experience. It's a fever dream. It's a nightmare. It's just everything all into one, and it's refreshing in a way because you don't hear music like this on the radio. You don't hear like only I've been hearing on the radio is Blind Lights by The Weeknd. And you go from that, like something like The Fever, which is what Seung was playing earlier. That song is great. I think that song is awesome. And it just makes you feel like punching a wall and then taking your fist out of the wall and then punching it again in the same spot. It's just everything at once. And that has to be praised in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and when Arjun said out of body experience, we're not talking about no Travis Scott
yeah, exactly.
kind of like, oh, I'm in space, I'm hallucinating, I'm on a trip. No, it's more like you're confronting your shadow, like the part that you cover up in public. It's like your private self that you don't even know exists.
You have it exactly correct. And we mentioned the theme of duality throughout lots of projects, especially like Blonde, where it's more obvious, or the duality of Kanye West. And you look at this album cover, I'm just staring at it, and I can't like see how it can't be about duality. You have this dude who's wearing this like this
I don't
mask.
know if you can call that a dude, bro.
Yeah.
oh, never mind. Hey. All right, that I don't want to like be like weird about it, but like that person on the left is wearing a dark mask and a white background, and I don't even know if we're gonna be able to show this cover on YouTube, but whatever. And then the person on the right is also wearing a mask, but I think it's on her head, and then she's in a dark background. And the guy's like chained up and she has the chain. I have no idea what this means. Again, with the title The Money Store, I really want to know what that means because that title is sick. Think about it. Like, what's a money store? A money store is like where you go and pay money for money, but then as a store, you're trying to get money. So what does that mean? That means that like it's a store that keeps adding on to itself, and it can because it's a store that makes money, and the way that stores keep getting bigger and better is with money. So if a store can make money and needs money to function, then it's something that basically can't be tamed because it's an everlasting growth or development that keeps happening until what happens.
Definitely has to do with some kind of dualistic like play. They're just teasing us with the dualism, and this one obviously they're going with the dark theme, I guess, with the music in general. And then they got like pretty anime girls, and one of them's smoking and the other one's like chained up. I got no words, man. What the heck?
Yeah, like we will definitely be revisiting this album in the near future to talk about it again. But right now, first impressions, I'm sort of speechless. Cool, let's score this thing. Hoseong, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, for me, it was really challenging. Like, this is not the type of genre or music that I would listen to normally. Like, it was so aggressive that I don't know when I would want this aggression in my life. Like, I could see this being in a movie and you're robbing a bank or something, but I don't know. I don't really see this going into my playlist. But yeah, I've seen some people that said like this is like their favorite album, their life, and I can see why, but for me it's just not it. So I'll give this a 6.5 out of 10.
That's pretty high for saying it's not it.
It might be my lowest.
Oh yeah, that's actually true. That's actually true.
Yeah.
Yeah, just going off of that, I can definitely see why people enjoy this album. It's great. It's really high quality music, but at the same time, there's a lot yet to be discovered, and that makes me really excited to listen to this project again. And replay value for any album is really important. And there's definitely a lot of replay value, not because it necessarily is soothing for my ears, but because I really want to decipher like what the heck is going on. And that should definitely be praised in some way, shape, or form. This group is legendary. Death Grips is great. They have a cult following for a reason. But right now, I have to agree with Hosong. It's not there for me, but I have a feeling that it's going to be there for me. MC Ride kills all of his performances. He just goes crazy, and it's not like he's like mumbling and like rapping like lazily, which is a pet peeve of mine. I hate when rappers sound lazy on a track. He's the opposite of that. And Zach Hill and Andy Morin, these guys go crazy on production. Like I talked about this earlier in the review. These guys aren't normal. They're madmen. Like these guys, like they're just not human. And you'll see what I mean once you give this album a listen. But for right now, I have to agree with Hosung. It's not there for me right now, but I see a lot of fun, entertaining listens in the near future with this record. So The Money Store, I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
Actually, if you think about it, we never really considered how we actually rate these albums every time. Because like, if it's to do with personal preference, I'll give it a 5. But in terms of its significance to the music, like to the progression of music over time, it's probably a 9, honestly. But I think here at DNC Reviews, our ratings are according to our preferences. Is it in the playlist or not? Are we playing it on with the friends? Are we gonna play while we're chilling with the homies? So I'm gonna give this a 5 in that case.
Yeah, I think that like our ratings sort of combine those two factors at times, but it sort of depends on what kind of mood I'm in, to be fair. Like if I come out of the listen like crying like about how bad it is, I'm not going to give it a good score if it pushes the envelope, you know. But yeah, it's personal, but it's also looking at the album in terms of the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. But yeah, Death Grips, The Money Store, we're everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast, we will be there. If not, I don't know what to say. That's sorry. But yeah, we will continue to make videos on a weekly basis for as long as we can. Distance learning or online learning has sort of helped us that way because the workload isn't that bad. I don't want to speak for everyone, but that's the way it is for me. But yeah, I mean, we're having fun doing this. We hope to get 200 subs by 2022, which is a goal that is hopefully achievable. Yeah, I'm just glad that we did this video in general, because Death Grips, this was not an easy one to persuade the guys with, but it worked. We did the review, and hopefully we will continue to explore other genres of hip-hop, and not only hip-hop, but other genres of music. We might do a pop album or an acoustic album, an alternative indie album. Definitely more female artists in the future, because I feel like we don't really give them enough shine. But yeah, no Meg Thee Stallion. But yeah, let's keep this thing going. It's been a fun review. Death Grips, The Money Store, Epic Records, 2012, experimental industrial hip hop. The review is now over. Goodbye.
Yeah.